Teoria.
Salutations, gamers. Provi the Plant here, with the video I said I would make last time, on Dragon Ball Z. This is Provi's health bars. Now you see, I am currently in the kitchen, and indeed cooking up a storm. But I then realised that to make this dish, I'd need a side of health bars. But Mr. Plant Man, I hear you ask, aren't there already larger, more established health bar mods to use?
Wrong, child.
Yes, the old King's Toro Health and Neat are pretty good, I would know. But Toro Health has features that Neat doesn't have, and Neat has features that Toro Health doesn't have, whereas my machinations need all of that and more, and it was simply just a far better use of time to just make another health bar mod than try to merge into either of the others. Introducing Provi's Health Bars, a mod that adds health bars in your game, on your HUD, and adds damage indicator particles. But, at a glance, what truly sets this apart is every mob gets a cute little paper doll on your HUD. But the border changes depending on entity groups, which, in case you weren't aware since they're not explicitly listed in the game, the groupings are used by enchantments like Smite, they're things like Undead, Arthropod, Aquatic, etc. Undead look fresh from the tomb, Aquatic mobs get a little bubble, and all the Arthropods have cobwebs, and Illagers, which are also their own group for some reason, they really don't need to be, but they get axes. But wait, there's more. There's always more. Mod Integration API. Yes, that's right, I have provided a nifty API that lets other mods more easily add portraits or even override the existing ones. Hehe, unofficial Monumenta mod accepted my pull request on GitHub. So now if you use my health bar mod on the Monumenta server, you get custom frames for their unique entity group system. Additionally, I finally got around to updating my own mod to use this API. It took a while, don't question it. So now, if you're playing with extra damage enchantments, which you should be adding to all of your mod packs, please trust me, it is a very good mod pack utility tool, you will get these custom ones. It took me a while to do the pixel art, not gonna lie. Health bars appear for mobs in the world, with visibility toggles split by hostility, neutral passive, bosses, and players. Optionally, you can even replace the nameplates with the health bar, though this is disabled by default. And no one else has considered this, but I have mob stacks. A common pain point is jockeys, like spider jockeys or chicken jockeys. Existing methods either disable the bar entirely for the mount, or render both bars, which will just look weird. My mod instead renders a double health bar for the rider, where the bottom half of the bar has the health for the entire vehicle stack. So if you had a spider jockey, the top part is the actual skeleton, where the bottom part is the spider. But if you had multiple spiders stacked on top of each other, then the bottom part of the skeleton's health bar would be the entire stack of spiders. It's useful, just it can happen. In mods maybe, I don't know. But what if the passenger shouldn't have a health bar? Won't the mount be left without a bar?
Wrong again, child.
This system handles such edge cases, like non-living or blacklisted passengers. One build trick that I truly love and hold no ill intent towards, is having a splash potion ride a mob. That's the kind of edge case I mean. Next, and hopefully all my background footage is showing this, I actually record everything separately, but the bars change color as the target's health changes. This is also separate between the rider and the mount health bars. And if you've ever played on an RPG-inspired server, you've probably seen the classic case of custom mobs. Really just being an invisible zombie or skeleton that's just wearing some kind of special texture pack armor. Health bar mods typically, and understandably, don't want to render on invisible mobs, because that could constitute cheating. So, these custom mobs kinda just break them. However, being the ascendant being that I am, I have taken this into account, after receiving a GitHub issue about it. Mobs are considered visible under certain conditions, most notably if they are actually visible, or if they have any armor on their top half, so a helmet or a chest piece. a mob took damage or healed, you get hit particles. In fact, there are 3 separate motion types for them: rising, static, and gravity. But, what's this? What? They only ever appear on the side of the target. Yes, the particle positioning is relative to the viewing angle between you and your target. Remember this? It's the illusion effect I made for the splinter back in my first video. I've leveraged the exact same trigonometry to position these particles too. You might be wondering how on earth that even works. Firstly, particles don't actually exist on the server, only the client, so you can just ignore literally everyone who isn't the player that you're controlling. And secondly, yes, I will be explaining this. It took an unholy amount of time to make the splinter maths. Plus, it's my channel, and I get to choose the autism. When a damaged particle spawns, it takes the current positions of the player and the mob. These 2 positions now form the top and the base of an isosceles triangle. The player is the top of the triangle, and the other 2 points are potential places for the particle to appear. This triangle can be split into 2 right-angled triangles that will save as a surprise tool for later. Instead, look at this new right-angled triangle, made using the original line and the world coordinates. It's trivially easy to just use the coordinates to acquire the opposite and adjacent side lengths of the new triangle. And, according to this Lovecraftian horror of a diagram that I drew a while ago, you can use the new triangle and the split right angles of the original right angle triangles, and thus the adjacent angle of the new triangle is equal to the z-axis bearing of the target mob to one of the possible particle spawn points. From here, I can simply invoke the raw, unadulterated power of Sokotoa to acquire the sine and cosine of the angles without even know what those angles are in the first place. This is mandatory because the Minecraft math library does not include the ability to reverse sine. If x and z are the target's coordinates, then the basic circle math tells us to place the particles at x plus d sine z minus d cos, where d is just the desired distance between the particle and the mob. 0.5 blocks, by the way. Still following. I did all of this just to make sure the particles would never block your view. It's the price we pay for quality of life. And yes, these are actual particles, by the way. I know Torah Health also has its own type of text particles, but that's actually an imitation of the particle system, which is pretty cool, to be completely honest, but I didn't do that. I just slapped the text renderer on the particle renderer and just called it a day. A surprising amount, honestly. As long as you have mod menu and cloth config, you can get quite a few options. These include things like the HUD position, the up and down or left and right, health bar color transitions, the colors of the text on the particles, the opacity of the particles, the color of the particles, whether or not any text should have shadows on it, various compatibility settings because iris and shaders do break a lot of things, and more. This mod is highly customizable. You can change almost every feature of this mod to your liking. A small tidbit though about the compatibility settings. If you've ever tried this before, you might know that shaders typically don't play too nicely with health bar mods. If you're running shaders, they will break the in-world health bars. The HUD should be fine, I haven't seen any issues of that yet. If you turn on the compatibility mode, this should fix the problem. But if you have compatibility mode, you can't use a color changing effect on the health bars. It's out of my hands, unfortunately. It's just because shaders break the exact thing that the color changing needs to work, so it is what it is. If this interests you, you can download it from CurseForge or Modgen. And as always, my mods are available on Fabric, and this one specifically supports every version that's equal to or above 1.20. Yeah.